Oh, can you show me love?
Everything You Love is a story about grief. It's a story about a young girl who gets called into a police department to identify the personal effects of her missing mother, who has recently been a victim of a homicide.
I think we're all like familiar with the cliche of like parents going into a morgue and the sheet being pulled back and oh my god, it's little Johnny. Like as it's a surprise, but in real life it's not generally a surprise. The police usually have a very good idea of who the victim is, and it's basically a formality. So I wanted to kind of explore that and dramatize that a little bit while still keeping like things in the dramatic realm.
We had to make the world look as realistic as possible. Like I don't think there couldn't be something that was out of place. The shots had to everything just had to look so authentic.
Yeah.
Because it was so crucial for the acting to provide and to carry the weight of this story. There couldn't be any mistakes or anything looking out of place for us.
Yeah, and you're also trying to balance that with like when she was giving such a good performance and stuff. You want to provide all that support from underneath, but you also don't want to get in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of what was nice about the end shot in the car. You know, it doesn't need to be flashy. You set a frame, you give the actor the frame, and you let them work within it.
But definitely, it was not the typical method of approaching a project you work on because there was no dialogue. So I kind of knew that it was going to be very internal and really getting into the character. I mean, she's obviously experienced a huge loss. And obviously with what you were saying about you kind of have an idea before you go into the room, so you're like nearly preparing yourself before you see this horrific. You know that it's going to be horrific, but it's like, how horrific can it possibly be?
Yeah, when you're talking about getting into that state, as a director, like the best thing you can do is like just get out of your own way a little bit. And film sets are pretty frantic places in and of themselves, so first thing you want to do is like calm that shit down. You let the actor know that you've got their back, and you make it comfortable, and you make it as conducive as possible to them. Yeah, exactly. You trust them to do a job. Yeah.
I feel like not to talk about what you're going through, like in your mind, to not like sit down with you and be like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then it
exactly.
makes it
that's not
private moments that you're having.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You can definitely talk too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not you personally.
Oh right, really?
No, not you personally.
Oh, I thought you were like, you talk too much.
No, I mean an actor could.
Oh yeah,
an actor
and
director
to like
could.
keep you in the loop with
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
this is what's happening right now, and this is what I'm going through. It's like, no, keep it to yourself, because then like, it's what makes it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because of COVID-19, I had to really think about what I had around me and what I could use, close by. So I thought, I'm gonna have to use my mother. And so I did, and she was really, really, open to the idea of being the dead mother.
You take it to a forest and shoot.
Yeah. Myself and Patrick really thought about, what happened to this mother. And I think in music videos you have such a short time to develop empathy. So the detail that you see within the props they're so necessary, because the human eye can take in a lot in such short moments.
It says a lot about production design actually, because when you think about it, we had another character there that had no actress. So it's a real testament to how like production design and stuff just creates a whole character before you even put an actor into that situation.
Yeah.
For this project we shot on anamorphic lenses. It was the first time I've shot on anamorphic lenses, but they are essentially a wider format lens where you can see a lot more of the scope of the location. It might seem an odd choice to use anamorphic lenses for a piece that's like so focused on faces, because they're traditionally, you think of like wide open vistas and stuff. But as John Cassavetes said, the greatest location in the world is the human face.
There's something really nice about the way anamorphics interpret the space in front of the camera, because they use a compression, so you're seeing a much wider frame or field of view for the actual lens focal length. So I just thought that using that kind of visual language in that setting, I thought would be really nice. When
you go into the spaces, you move all of the big objects according to like the blocking that we had discussed previously. So that's kind of like the first step, the first layer. And once that's nailed, then you go in with the second layer of dressing props, and like, where would I place my coat, where if I took my hat off, where would I put it, those kind of things. And I think those things really add the extra layer of authenticity to the whole thing.
I love true crime, I guess, so really kind of having something so meaty to like sink your hands into it, and,
yeah.
and you gave me a lot of freedom with it, which is what I like. Like you didn't really sit down and you were like, I want this and I want this and I want this, but we compromised a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a good collaboration there.
Yeah.
I mean, you only look as good as the actors look.
And the music is so amazing. It's hard like not to really get emotional with it. It's such an amazing piece. You really just are in awe for like those like 3 minutes. But the point I'm trying to make is that it was an amazing project to be a part of.
At the end of the day, when you see it back, it does have to serve the song. We're making a music video. It's got to push the song as well as standalone on its as a piece. And I think with this one, I think I haven't been more happy with anything I've got my name on it, I think.